to develop a grant program that provides seed money to properly fund the initial costs of taking over a cemetery, as well as annually help cover the ongoing costs. So do we want to do something like that, or just leave it?
I would like to see that part of it gone forward by staff to send that in.
Okay. We have a motion from Councillor Morris and seconded by Councillor White.
I'll second that. And can we do a resolution that we support even that part of it? Like, is that reasonable?
I believe so. Yeah. Because I think all of council agrees with you. We don't want derelict cemeteries just sitting, not being taken care of. So is that good direction from staff with that resolution? All right. Any other comments or questions on that? All in favor of that? That is carried. And we will go on to the scheduled meetings and events. And there's no changes to any of the meetings. Just a reminder that AMO conference is coming up in August, and that will be an in-person conference. So please let staff know if any of council wants to attend that. And we will go to councillors' commitments and items. Does anyone have any commitments that they'd like to add? Okay, then Councillor Westgate.
The first one, June the 12th, make that June to the 19th. And you can add another one, September 3rd to the 7th.
Okay, thank you. And we will go on to councillors' commitments or councillors' items. Councillor White, do you have anything for council today?
Nothing today.
And Councillor Mitchell?
Nothing for me today, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
Councillor Morris?
Actually, I got a couple. Karen was here today at our opening house, and she brought up about the library's eave troughs. She's wondering if they're plugged on the southwest corner of the library. Maybe it's tough to have a long extension ladder to get up there, but I'm wondering if they're plugged. She says it's overflowing and running over the eave trough. The other thing, I guess I asked Andrew the last meeting about what was going to be done about Quaker Road from Egremont to the 402. I took it today and I barely got through with four-wheel drive.
Okay, Ryan, did you want to speak to the library situation, and then we'll move to Andrew for the other?
Great. Thank you, Mayor Rombout. To Councillor Morris, we do have a contractor secured who's going to be looking after the eaves trough concerns at the library. We did speak with him last week, and weather permitting, he would be there the start of this week. So it has been recognized, and we do have a plan in place to clean up that issue.
Great.
I did speak with the county regarding Quaker Road, and they did commit that that project, the road, would be in the same or better condition than when they started once the project's completed. Unfortunately, they didn't have a stipulation when the project could begin, and they began at probably the wettest time of the year. So the road will be repaired and back to passable condition.
Thank you.
Is that everything?
Yes, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. And Councillor Westgate.
I had nothing for today.
Okay, I have a few things. The first one was I got a call just this morning from a ratepayer on Ellerton Road, which is a road in our municipality, but not one that we take care of. I believe Lambton Shores, we have an agreement with them that they are supposed to take care of that road. The ratepayer was very upset that she said, I've been driving around the roads in Warwick Township and they look beautiful and they've all been graded and they've all been well maintained, and our road has potholes and it's terrible and it's an accident waiting to happen. I did mention to Mayor Weber when he was here, but I was wondering if we could put maybe a little bit of pressure on their roads people to get that taken care of. And as many of you have seen, I had an accident, which really has nothing to do with that, anything except that it brought to my attention that none of our urgent care clinics in this area or in Middlesex are open right now and have not been open since March of 2020. This is a big concern for me, given that they're moving, and a lot of our doctors are not seeing patients in person. I'm wondering if we should be writing a letter to the Ministry of Health to encourage them to open up our urgent care clinics again, because we're spending a lot of money on people going to the emergency room as opposed to going to an urgent care clinic. Like, I could have easily gone to an urgent care clinic to have the stitches removed, but because none of them were open, I had to go to Emerge. Well, just to register at Emerge is over $300 and some, like, for the province, which is a huge cost if it adds up, right? So I'm wondering if council if we could maybe have a resolution to write a letter on, to encourage them to get these urgent care clinics opened up and maybe free up some of our emergency room for those strong emergencies. Do we need a resolution or a motion in order for us to do that? If council wishes to write a letter.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder to that? Thank you, Councillor Westgate. Any questions or comments on that? I just think it would, it's costing the province a lot of money to not have these clinics open. And it's really difficult, especially for young families, like to sit in an emergency room. I have children and I know it's not fun. So, and the urgent care clinics are really invaluable. So, and maybe that could be a delegation at AMO as we get closer to the delegations, we can look into doing that as well and get some FaceTime with the ministry on that topic. Okay, and I just wanted to on a happier note, let council know that I brought greetings at the Elmhaw banquet, and I wanted to congratulate all of our our East Lambton minor hockey athletes on a great season. It was so amazing to be in that banquet room and see all their smiling faces, and they were so excited to be with their teams, and so it was really a fun event that happened this past Saturday. And just a reminder to council that the official grand opening for the East Lambton Giving Hope thrift store is happening this Saturday at 10 a.m. I thought it was last Saturday, but that was the soft opening. So if any of council wants to attend the ribbon cutting ceremony at 10 a.m. or any of the public, everyone's invited to that. So, okay. And that's all I had. And we are at staff items. So I'm going to put it over to Amanda to give us an update on the 2020 regulation, broader public sector data. I'm just going to give it to you, Amanda.
Thank you, Mayor Rombouts. So I just wanted to make council aware that just recently, on our behalf, Blue Water Power has completed the filing required with Ontario Regulation 50718, which is to report our energy use data annually. So this is a partnership, a longstanding one we've had with Blue Water Power that tracks and tracks all of our energy use as a municipality, and looks for energy enhancements as part of our energy conservation and demand management plan. So just wanted to let everyone know that was completed, and thanks to Blue Water Power for their excellent partnership work on that.
And we also have a verbal update from Amanda Gubbles providing an update on the new municipal office and service levels.
Thank you, Mayor Rombouts. So I just wanted to share with council, we are in our new municipal office located at 5280 Nowy Road in Watford. So just wanted to make an announcement to the public that we are here and ready to offer in-person services at any time. We have had to change our primary phone number and fax number. However, our former numbers will be forwarded here. So they have been publicly advertised. We still maintain the same office hours, 8:30 to 4:30 Monday to Friday, and I look forward to serving the public here. here. I did want to note that we have had some trouble with our phone system since moving. So if any members of the public have contacted us and not been able to get through or not been able to leave a voicemail, we do apologize. And it is up and running now. We'd love to hear from you so we can address any concerns that we may have missed. Thank you.
Thank you. And we will go on to delegations. We have Colin and Jen Van Kessel here. Both of you are welcome to come up to the table. We're very informal here at Warwick Council, so. And I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mayor Rumbouts. So Colin and myself are here tonight regarding the letter that we submitted last Friday regarding a reduction in the security deposit amount for the car wash project at 7921 Industrial Drive. So I think just when we first began our research looking into opening the car wash in Watford, the outline regarding the deposit was much different compared to what it is now. So I think from when we first started, the amount was between $5,000 and $10,000 to put down as the deposit. And I think as the project went on and as our planning went on, and then obviously the townships and council has changed the way the security deposit is done now. So I think just because it seems like it's quite a jump from between 5,000 and 10,000 to now in our case, it's 107,000. We're just here asking for a consideration of, in our letter, from 50% to 25%.
Okay. Do we want to discuss this now or wait until further in the agenda when we get to the site plan? What is the best way forward?
Thanks, Mayor Roberts. I think if council has any questions on the request from Jen and Colin Van Kessel, or if they have any requests on the history of our site plan deposit fee structure or the approvals that have been put in place to change the model from the one Jen has referenced to the current model, which is 50% of the construction value, I think now would be the appropriate time to speak to those items.
Questions, council?
I guess I was wondering, when did we change this? I don't remember ever changing it.
We'll let Ms. Gubble speak to the history of this.
Great question, Councillor Westgate, and I was ready for that one. I was ready for that one. So in late 2020, Council asked us to look at our site plan fees generally, so our application fees, our third-party deposit fees, as well as our site plan security fees. And in April of 2021, Council approved a report that adopted a new fee structure. And the report increased the site plan application fees by about $100 and also increased the third-party site plan deposit. So that's the section that we draw on for a third-party engineer's review. It also adopted a new fee structure for these security deposits. And it moved away from the $10,000 or $5,000 security deposit to a deposit that is representative of 50% of construction value. Now, at the time the planner prepared this report, they were reviewing some concerns that we've had as a municipality related to continued compliance. So what we've seen in a few cases is site plans being approved, buildings being built, and after occupancy of the building and use of the property, the incentive sometimes to finish the property, so to complete any parking lot paving or line painting or drainage works or landscaping works, is sometimes less so. So at that time, planning proposed, after doing some research, a 50% deposit based on the estimated value of construction. And they did so in line with a few other municipalities. So well, not all municipalities in the county of Lambton use this fee structure. Plimpton, Wyoming, Lambton Shores, and St. Clair actually require a 100% deposit. So ours was a 50% proposal. And then others, so some others like Point Edward does require a flat fee of $5,000. So that's where it came from, and it was approved in April 2021. However, Jen and Colin are the first applicants that have come on board since that time. So any other site plan deposits that has been approved between now and then had already started before that fee structure was in place. So this is the first time it's being applied. But the intent is to, behind the structure itself, was to ensure expedited development, seeing development through to completion, and then upon it provides a release after certain works are done, and holds actually a portion back for landscaping an additional year.
So what are council's options tonight?
So as always, council sets policies and fees for the municipality. So council has really any option available to you. You could direct staff to amend the fee structure. We'd have to approve a new bylaw to do so. You could make an exception, although from a staff perspective, I would not encourage an exception basis to a fee structure. So if you do plan to make an amendment to this for one applicant, I would suggest that a review of the whole policy would be more fitting, just as developers come, so that it's not unevenly applied.
Councillor Morris?
Was this application not started before the fee structure was changed?
I don't know. Okay.
If this application was started before the fee structure was changed, then they should be grandfathered into the old fee.
Louis, do you want to fill us in on that?
Very much, Your Worship, Council. Just provide a little bit of background information, and not speaking contrary to Ms. Gubbles. I wanted to indicate two items. One, there have been two site plan applications that did move forward post development of the policy, and they have met the requirements of the policy. So the conversion of the, I believe it was to the apartment building over at 460 Victoria Street, they provided a 50% security, totaling about $42,000 or $43,000 because the site works were less. And in addition to that, 521 Victoria, if I recall correctly, was the development of some row housing, and they have also provided security. In that case, they provided 100% because the works were within, or a good proportion of the works were within the municipal right-of-way. And so the municipality took 100% security to ensure those works were completed. As for this application, in this instance, the applicant submitted a site plan application in, I believe, in December. There was preliminary correspondence with the applicant in August of 2021, if I recall. And so there was really, at least from my perspective, there was really, the policy was in place, and it was already in existence before any sort of formal application was submitted, or any, at least discussions with myself were done.
Thank you for that background. Any other questions, Council? Councillor Mitchell?
Just more to our delegates. How would that 100% impact you folks for moving forward with the project?
That's a great question. For us, just because we're not a big developer, like we're doing it for ourselves for the most part of everything, that, over $100,000 is over 10% of the total project. For us to lock that away, which is what you basically have to do, right? Put in an account to give you guys your security letter, is just, that's 10% of the project that I would like to be able to spend on the project and not have to be held back. I feel like in a way we might have to take shortcuts, cut back on some things that we wanted to do that we can't do now per se. And, you know, it's a big chunk of it at the moment. Yeah.
And sorry, just to quickly comment here. I know that Lewis has mentioned that our site plan was put in December, and, you know, like we had put our offer in on the lot in June, but that's not to say that we started, like, I think the conversations and our whole research started March of 2020.
Yeah, Trevor would know that. We've been talking to Trevor since, March.
We've been trying to lock down a lot for quite some time. That was our biggest challenge. So it's not like we started this in December or August when we started talking to Lewis. It's been an ongoing 2-year process.
Councillor White.
Can we move with the proposal? I do agree with what we have now as a fee, but it does seem there is some discrepancy on when this discussion started a little bit. Is there any, like, you are proposing 25% instead of 50?
Yeah, so the total amount would be $53,627.50.
Okay, and that's to cover off asphalt, top coats, landscaping, finishes, that type of thing. Because I'm along with others, I think the discussion just started earlier than and we probably gave some information that decisions were made on, and then we've changed that partway through the process. So I would like to propose, like, they're not saying 5,000 either. So, like, it's 25% of the project cost. I do believe our fee is appropriate now, but I think this project got caught in the middle. I don't know where others are on that.
So just to clarify, Councillor White, would you make a motion that we approve the request?
I would make that motion that we do, but that also we have the discretion, you know, that if we see the project not moving in the direction that could change to the appropriate amount.
Yes.
I'd even be willing to do 25%, give us 18 months. If it's not complete with the final from you guys, I'd go back to the 50.
I think that's pretty reasonable.
I would agree with that.
I second the motion.
Councillor Westgate?
Are we able to do that? I thought Amanda said before that we weren't really able to do it.
We can do whatever we want. It just sets a precedent. But I think Councillor White has explained that very well, that they have been in negotiations with Trevor and with the staff for a long time. And I know this has been on our sheets for a long time, and we've been looking forward to it. The community's been looking forward to it. So I think you make a very good point. We have a motion and a seconder. Any other questions or comments on that?
Just one last comment, and, you know, clarifying what Colin just said is that if in 18 months that is not the case, then the full 50 will be applied and asked for and given. That was publicly noted. So, yeah.
Councillor Westgate?
We're asking for a letter of credit. We're not asking for the 50,000, right?
Yeah.
So that's not like putting 50,000 out either.
No, it just ties up capital.
It ties up your credit.
Yes.
And there is fees to having a letter of credit as well on top of it tying up your credit. So I personally think that council has come to a very reasonable conclusion on this. We have a motion on the floor. Is there any further discussion? Anything? All in favor of that motion? That is carried. Thank you both for coming. I'm sure you're probably wanting to see what happens later on in the meeting with the site plan, but I think this is a good indication of how that's going to go. And we really appreciate you guys being patient and sticking with this project. We're all very excited to go to the new car wash, and I know all of council will be using it quite a bit. So
Thank you very much. We really appreciate everyone's time and consideration.
Okay, council, we are going to go on to 10A, which is the GL report. We need a mover and a seconder to receive and file that report. Thank you, Councillor Morris and Councillor Mitchell. Any questions or comments on that report? All in favor of receiving and filing that? Thank you. And we'll go on to non-action correspondence. Is there any, or we need a mover and a seconder to, is there anything that we want to pull out for that for discussion? Councillor Morris.
There was one I was looking at, and that was the Township of Melmer Resolution Regarding More Homes for Everyone Act. I wondered if we should maybe talk about that. We're in a desperate need of affordable housing, and this is kind of supports that. So, but I would like the rest of council's opinion.
Councillor Mitchell.
I'd second that.
Further discussion? All in favor of supporting that resolution? And that was moved by Councillor Morris. Thank you. Anything else anyone would like to discuss? I just wanted to pull out, there are the minutes of the Warwick Public Liaison Committee meeting of March 9th. And I just wanted to advise council that Alex McDonald has stepped down from that committee. He was a very excellent member of that committee, and I just wanted to take a moment to thank him for his many years of service. And just a reminder to council that there are some openings on that committee. If you know of anybody in the community who would be interested, they are paid for the meetings and for their time, and it's a very valuable committee to have. We rely greatly on them for their input from waste management. So if anyone knows of anybody who's interested in applying, they can contact the office and they will be guided in that. The other one is that I noted that there was a letter from the Watford Scouts on the removal of the pop can collection, which is, I just want to make the comment that I believe at the new Giving Hope thrift store, they are collecting pop cans now. So yeah, and also they have a collection for used electronics and things like that to be recycled there. So we need a motion to receive and file the remainder of the non-action correspondence. Thank you, Councillor Morris and Councillor White. All in favor? That is carried. And we'll go on to the action correspondence. There is one on there, a request for a resolution regarding the healthcare system in Bill 124. If there's no interest, then we need a motion to receive and file that correspondence. Councillor.
I make a motion to receive and file the correspondence.
Councillor White?
I'd like to make a motion that we support it. I think these people have really worked hard over the last 2 years. There is a lot of concern that there is not enough nurses out there. A lot have left the profession, and the attractiveness of the position. We all need healthcare, so I'd kind of like to consider supporting it.
I personally, I'm worried about our healthcare system right now, and we do have an aging population that we have to consider. I don't believe we're ready for the baby boomers to be aging the way like time passes, and we all know that. So, and it's a tough position. Whether you're a PSW or you're a nurse right now, it's not an easy position to have. And you know, we can be grateful for them and we can ring the bells and bang the pans, but they need to be compensated for the wonderful care that they give to people. Do we have a seconder? We have a motion on the floor. Oh, we have two motions on the floor.
I'll remove my motion. I just didn't want to get in the middle of something that should be at the negotiating table.
go ahead with the motion if there's supporters.
Do we have a seconder?
I'll second.
Okay, any further discussion on that? It is difficult because it is, we're not sitting at the provincial level and we're not the ones that have to make those tough decisions, but.
In this bill, it takes in a lot more than just the nurses. And the nurses and PSWs, they did get more money during COVID, and I think most of them are still getting it. I do hate to take away their rights to negotiate, but they don't really have that now anyway, because they're needed all the time. I don't know.
It is a tough one because, we see a lot of money going into the healthcare system that maybe is going to administration as opposed to the hands on the floor, which is difficult too. I don't personally know enough about this bill at this point. Any further discussion? All in favor of supporting the motion? That is carried. All right, we are going to move on to staff reports. We've got 13A, which is the Ontario Housing Affordability Task Force Report and Bill 109, More Homes for Everyone Act. And there's a motion that report P&D 1022, Ontario Housing Affordability Task Force Report and Bill 109, Homes for Everyone, be received and filed. Do we have a mover and a seconder for that? Moved by Councillor Mitchell, seconded by Councillor White. Any questions or comments on that report? All in favor? That is carried. And we will go on to B, which is the site plan agreement for 79 Auto Shine Inc., 7921 Industrial Drive. And there is a motion that council approves the report and authorizes the execution of the site plan agreement between the Township of Warwick and 79 Auto Shine Inc. We have council's very excited to move and second that, so we'll give it to Councillor Mitchell and Councillor White. Any questions or comments on that? Oh, Louis, would you like to speak to that? Thank you.
If I may, thank you, Mayor Rumboats. I just wanted to speak to the site plan agreement itself very briefly. So as you heard from the Van Kessels, they've been working on this for quite some time, and it's my pleasure to present the agreement before you for consideration. What I just wanted to advise is that given the recent direction from council to amend the agreement presented before you needs to be revised. And so I just needed to make you aware of it. I'm actually working on the text of those changes as we speak. But just to summarize, the applicants have been working diligently, and they're looking forward to moving forward with what they're hoping to be a very successful project. They've done, at least in my opinion, helped set a trend moving forward for future site plan agreements within the community, specifically landscaping. It's one of the items that they've taken, at least looking at the plan itself, significant care and consideration for. So that just helps beautify the area, improve the area, and it is an investment on their part. So I just need the council to be aware of that. And as to the agreement itself, it is the standard agreement. However, we have included some additional requirements. Nothing onerous. The provision of a geotechnical report, just so that you're aware of it, which is something that they require anyways as part of the process. Requirements for lighting and ensuring lighting is maintained to their site, and just other requirements relating to waste management and signage, for example. So nothing onerous, but in keeping with what they've provided for in their project. And then, of course, the other, let's say, deviation from the norm is this let's say, modification or requirement to kick in a higher deposit amount at 18 months from when the agreement is executed. So just thought I'd let everybody know. I'm not sure how, and I would defer to Ms. Gubbles as to how it may be preferential to move forward with this given the recent change. So I'm not sure if the preference would be to accept the agreement as it is, with council directing staff to make the revision to the agreement to ensure that the requirement to provide a higher deposit amount is done within 18 months or not. And so I would defer to Ms. Gubbles as to how the best approach would be.
Thank you, Louis. So my suggestion for simplicity, if Council were to, as we have a motion on the floor, approve this report just as amended at the end, noting the changes that Louis outlined. And when we get to the bylaw section on the agenda, we'll approve bylaws 27 as amended and 28 of 2022. And we'll take that as informal council direction to amend the agreements and execute them accordingly.
And I just wanted to take a moment to thank Louis and Ken Maringer from the county for making sure that this got on this agenda. We really wanted to make sure that this project could get up and running as quickly as possible. So we really appreciate your help with that, Louis. Any other questions or comments from council? All in favor of the resolution as amended? That is carried. Thank you very much. And we're very happy that we're going to get in a car wash. I'm sick of spraying mine off with the. All right, council, we are going to move on to the East Lambton Community Complex Construction Progress Report. There's a motion to receive and file that, that staff approves that report and that staff be authorized to purchase and acquire equipment to support the ELCC operations as per the report. We need a mover and a seconder for that recommendation.
This was all within the budget too, if I read it right.
Yes, Councillor Morris, yes. All expenditures noted.
I make that motion.
And Councillor Mitchell, you want to second that?
I'll second.
Questions or comments? And just so everyone knows, Amanda did confirm that was all within budget. So all in favor of that. And thank you to our staff. I'm sure that was a big project and it's good to have that get it moving forward. And we'll go on to 14A, which is the minutes of the Public Works Committee meeting of April 6th. We need a mover and a seconder to receive and file that. Thank you, Councillor Mitchell and Councillor White. Any questions or comments on that report? Seeing none, all in favor? That is carried. Any new business tonight? Seeing none, we are going to move into closed meeting session, which means we are going to say goodbye to our YouTube viewers and allow some of our staff to retire for the evening. We do need a motion to move into in camera for the items listed on the agenda. Moved by Councillor Morris, seconded by Councillor Westgate. All in favor? That is carried. So we will be returning to open session, but not on YouTube, as it's just going to be closing out the meeting. So we wish everyone a very happy evening and we welcome you into our new facility at any time.